ain't got insurance on my watch. Half a million now, I got me some insurance.
Good day, Forex traders. And this is the first video of the weekly top-down analysis, which we're gonna cover 3 indices, which are German 30, which is one of my favorites. I'll tell you the reason why, and US 30 and Nasdaq. So, whenever we want to do a top-down analysis, it's either we start from the daily time frame or the weekly time frame. It depends on the structure where you want to start. But to me, I start on the weekly and then daily. But it's more of the same thing. You just have to choose which one is better for you. So on this video, I'm going to be starting on the weekly, especially on German 30. So what you need to do first is to check your structure without putting anything. You have to check what's happening on your current market price before you look backwards. So what you need to do, you can see that the market has been moving downwards. How do you see that? It was up here, created an impulse, then it corrected and turned here, and then this is our lowest low. This is what we have on our chart on the weekly. But what we want to use, some lines are not relevant and they are far from what we need. So what we have to do at this situation, we have to use the current market price, which is basically this box right here on our weekly time frame. So we need to spot zones of sensitivity around this box, checking our previous data which was happening a few days back or a few months back or a few weeks back. So what we need to do is to remove this line. It's too far from the current market. So we have these two zones now, which is here where the market broke out and then retested, and then it impulsed to the downside, and then the market, let me delete this thing, and then the market came down here and gave us a double bottom type of formation. So what is happening right now is that we need our mid zone from this range, which is gonna be this level. You can see we have multiple touches on this level. So now we go further to the deeper current. And deeper current, I mean where the market is at the moment, like right here around this area. We see how the market is reacting on our zones. So the market, as you can see, is crossing over our mid zone. So we can jump into the daily for more insight. Yeah, now we can see on the daily, the zones are still the same. That's why I said like the daily and weekly are more of the same thing. There's not much you can change. But there's one tip that you need to do when you go to the lower time frame. You need to readjust your zones in order to get perfect entries based on those lower time frames. So what we do here on the daily time frame is that we check. We had this impulse move right here. We had this impulse right here. And then we had this correction move right here. So we know after a correction move, we are going for an impulse, which has started already to down here. So now since we know that this impulse has started, we need to drop further down, because now we have two confirmations that we had an impulse correction and now we're at a second impulse phase. and we've broken our mid-range level. It's like we're retesting it, but we'll see it when we go deeper on the lower time frames. Do you see, just by one time frame or 2 time frames, you can know exactly what the market is doing. You can know the story of what the market is trying to tell you. And going deeper is just for more confirmations. You'll see it's magical. Now we have 2 confirmations that are telling us that we're on the right track to the downside. When we go deeper, it's where we might find patterns which are gonna show us that we're definitely going to the downside. So what we had here was the breakout of this pattern. Let's throw it like this and like this. Here we had the breakout of this pattern and a retest at this area right here. We had a breakout and a retest. So most of you guys know the 90% rule, in which we know that the market is gonna reach where the trend started. If it breaks a trend, like it broke this trend, it's gonna cap down where the trend started, which is this level right here, which means that's gonna be our first TP, first take profit while we're going to the downside. That's another confirmation that we're going to the downside. So just that I'm not deep into head and shoulders, but I can see that there's a head and shoulder pattern forming just right here. Just right here. We're currently on the right shoulder. So move to the downside. It's a reversal pattern. So we're currently at the right shoulder to move downside, to the downside right here. But we know our first TP is gonna be this level right here. Okay, so let me delete this. This is what you have right now. So from here, because I have a lot of information right now, we know we have the direction, we have confirmed in 3 ways or 3 principles that the market is going down. So now what is most important for me is an entry point to the downside. That's the most important thing from here. So there's no need for me to go to the 1 hour time frame. What I have to do now is I jump onto my 30 minutes time frame. You'll see it's magical. So what we see now right here is there was a breakout of this pattern right here, which was a correctional pattern. We've got a breakout right here, which was a correction of this movement which occurred right here, this impulse which was right here, and now we're at the correctional phase. So to get an entry point right here, we know we have to wait for a retest on the trend line, on the pattern which was broken. And now we can see why the market turned right here, because there is a structure which is keeping the market not to break. So if things like this happen, just know that we're going for a retest, and our retest is gonna be at this level. This is where we get our entry point. So I was telling you about a tip that you need to readjust your lines when you go deep, but this is what I mean. You need to readjust it to the wicks of that lower time frame candlesticks. So this is how it looks. So based on what's happening right now, our entry is gonna be right here where the market is gonna retest, but we're gonna wait for a reversal pattern candlestick such as doji or any rejections. We don't just enter blindly. We have to wait for this type of candlesticks to form at the level that we're anticipating that the market is gonna reverse, especially on reversals. That's why you have to wait. So this is what we have now. So mostly what I like to do is when I'm right here on the 30 minutes, this is where I'm gonna set my TPs and my trails. How I'm gonna trail my stop loss. I set them before I enter the trade. Like I know my zone, so I'm gonna enter where I'm gonna scale in. I do this before I even enter the trade. So on this market, we can see that we have the 90% rule, which is gonna play out. That the market is gonna drop and come here to complete where the trend line started, which was broken. So we know that the market is gonna come to this level. But from our top-down analysis from the weekly, we know that the market has to reach here overall. So what we do is when the market gets here, mostly if you're going to be scalping, when the market gets here on this first zone where it failed to break, you move your stop loss into profit. It's either you move it into 50% profit or 30% profit. When it gets here, you lock your profit and let the market run to the next target, which is this one. When we get here, since we know that the market, the overall movement is to the downside, when it gets here, we move our stop losses and lock profits again on this other section, on this between this. Okay, let me just use this. We lock our profits anywhere between here when the market reaches this point right here. We lock our profits and let our trade run to the next level. So what I usually do, if we break out this 90% rule, that's where I'm gonna scale in hard. If we break out and retest, I go in hard to the final TP. This is where I'm gonna close my trades, like finally. Yeah, so guys, I don't want to make my video long, so I think the US30 and Nasdaq are gonna be on a separate video. Good day, guys. Subscribe and set an alert so that you can know when I post the US30 analysis and the Nasdaq analysis. I might as well give you a bonus on gold for those who trade gold. Yeah, so good day, guys. Subscribe and have a nice day.